Interrupt my dance moves.
Don't interrupt your dance moves. Oh, come on. Welcome to Cahoots Live for Sunday, February 4th. Yeah, remember to say February and not January.
Good for you.
In case you're tuning in for the first time, I'm Dylan Trahan, and with me, as always, my main man, Patrick Main. How's it going, Patrick?
It's going really good, man. It's my birthday.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Everybody leave a
you.
comment in the comments saying, happy birthday, Patty Cakes. Make sure it says Patty Cakes.
Yeah.
Now let's dip into our fishbowl, our Cahoots Live fishbowl, our very aptly named segment, and find out how I'm going to be finishing the rest of our spiel here. Oh, I got two.
What did you get?
While being tickled.
Oh,
Okay.
Here comes the tickled shot.
Don't forget this show comes at you live every Sunday at noon Eastern Time on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook with new amazing guests of all creative persuasions, such as tickle monsters. If you like this show, don't forget to leave a comment, join in the chat, like, subscribe, follow, or just tune in again next week. Our guests this week are Brian Tovey, harmonica player extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
I'm
Harmonica player
Did I ever tell you
extraordinary.
that I'm Italian? And I'm not, though. And Josh House. How do you say this word? Luthier?
Luthier?
Because every time I read it, I think there's a TH in there. It should be Luther with an I.
Luthier. I've always called it Luthier.
Well,
Luthier? A luthier, for those of you that don't know, builds guitars.
And he will be in with us in just a second. But first, as always, Bob, it's time for the icebreaker. Now,
Okay.
Josh House, everyone, and you are a
Luthier.
luthier.
Yeah. Now, if you're French, the pronunciation is Luthier.
Luthier.
Well,
I have a French name, but I'm not very French.
Dylan is a French name?
Yeah, I meant my surname, jackass. Our icebreaker for today. Oh, this is a perfect.
Oh, your lav needs to be on.
Our question
How's that?
today is it working? Perfect. Our question is actually pretty apt. If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Oh, can I kick off? Can I start?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start.
Yeah, go for it.
I love cedar. I love the way they smell. I love just everything about the cedar trees. So I would be a cedar tree.
You'd be a cedar tree.
yeah. What would you be?
Josh?
What would you be?
Yeah,
what would you be? if you were to be a
you're
tree?
familiar
Well,
with the wood.
I think I think
I'd go with kindergarten.
I'd go with a mahogany tree. I was actually just in Mexico a couple weeks ago looking at trees, and so I would go with a mahogany tree because they tend to grow in warmer climates, away from the cold that we're in right now, and they're kind of orange in color, which is my favorite color. So
There you go. Orange is also my favorite color, and I also like warmth. That is a good answer and well thought out. Yeah.
My answer is not going to be well thought out at all. But I just want to dig a little deeper on that. You were in Mexico looking at trees.
well, yeah. So the trees that we were looking at were actually already cut down. One of my suppliers for the wood I use as a guitar maker is in Mexico, and so I had a chance to go down and actually tour the sawmill and kind of see where the materials start out for what I do. So
That's really cool. Yeah.
Now, my answer is I would be a bonsai tree because of Karate Kid Part 3.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Karate Kid Part 3 where they're always trying to steal the bonsai tree? I don't know. It just seems like bonsai trees they have an exciting life.
Yeah, do they? I don't know.
If you're in Karate Kid Part 3, the worst of the Karate Kid films.
Okay. But they're so tiny, I might develop a complex if I was a bonsai tree.
What if I was a really tall bonsai tree?
Then you wouldn't be a bonsai. Then you would just be a tree.
Well, I would say that. Let's call that ice broken. All right. So, Josh, as a luthier, when did you start getting into making guitars?
I started when I was 19. So when I was 15 was when I actually started playing guitar. And it became apparent that I probably wouldn't be making my living as a musician, but I still wanted to do something musical, and I like to work with my hands. So someone kind of introduced me to the idea that people actually can make guitars on their own.
That's always a magical moment as a creative, right? The moment you realize that it's a job.
Yeah.
You don't really think
Yeah.
think about it, right? Guitars are made in factories by machines or whatever. But,
Yeah, they all say Gibson on them.
or Martin or something. So that was really neat when I kind of realized that, and hey, maybe this could be a career. So I went and took a course when I was 19, kind of a crash course in guitar building.
How long is a crash course?
A crash course in guitar building is like a month.
Oh, okay.
So
that is still a crash course.
Yeah.
So do you walk out of that with a guitar?
I did actually, yeah. The course I took was with Sergei de Jong, and he was one of the apprentices of Jean Larrivée of the Larrivée Guitar Company, which was one of the biggest guitar companies.
Larrivées are awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
To come out of Canada. And so it was a 1 month crash course where there was 4 or 5 students, and we actually went and lived there, and over the course of those 4 to 5 weeks built a guitar. So yeah, I actually came home with a finished instrument.
Crazy.
Do you still have that guitar?
I do. It's not the best guitar in the world, but I do have it, and I'll never get rid of it.
That's
It's,
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it's
the
kind of
first one.
like a painter's first painting.
Exactly.
It's hard to part with something that means so much, right?
So when you're building, are you do you have multiple projects on the go at the same time?
I do, and the reason for that is with something like guitar making, there's a lot of drying time and kind of downtime. So I'll work on something, clamp it up, and then it's got to sit overnight. So while it's drying, I'll just move on to the next one. And so usually 2 or 3 on the go at any one time.
Okay. And how long would it take to see a guitar from beginning to end, completion?
Usually 6 weeks to 2 months,
Yeah?
somewhere in there. It can depend on the complexity of the guitar, the type of features it has, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
For me, I've got some other projects on the go besides just the guitars, so it's usually more of a 3-month process. So
Okay.
yeah, anywhere from 2 to 3 months.
And like as far as like the inlays go and like the designs, do you design your own instruments, or do you have like templates that you follow, or?
Yeah, well, if someone comes to me looking to order a custom guitar, we usually start with the shape of the instrument. So
Yeah.
I offer 9 shapes right now, right from a small 3/4 size guitar up to like a full
That's awesome.
17-inch jumbo.
Okay.
Something
Wow.
like a Gibson J200. And so you start with the shape, and then basically the sky's the limit from there. So you can select different woods for the back and the sides and the top, and neck dimensions, inlays, like you mentioned, any of that kind of stuff can be customized to the client's preference.
Okay.
So as a player, if you were to build your dream guitar, what kind, like, walk us through, like, what kind of wood would you start with? Like, if you were gonna make your perfect guitar.
It would be a mahogany cedar guitar, like my mahogany tree.
You have one of these here, do
I
you?
do actually have one here. Now this wouldn't be necessarily my dream guitar, but it is one that I really like.
Okay. Here, let's mix.
Give you a nice soft surface. I wanna lay you down
This
on a
is
bed
beautiful.
of curtains. A little Bon Jovi for you.
Okay, so what we have here is my Grand Auditorium model, and it's kind of a medium-sized guitar. So it's not too small, not too big. It tends to be very comfortable for most people to play. And it's also, the size is a very versatile size instrument. So it's good if you're strumming or if you like to do some finger picking. It's great for that as well. I'm just going to flip this over, see if you can get the back in there. Okay, so the back and the sides of the guitar are mahogany, as well as the neck.
Okay.
The binding, which is the trim that goes around the edge of the guitar, is curly maple.
Okay.
And then this guitar has a cedar top, and usually the top of the guitar is spruce or cedar. It's going to be a softwood, because the softwoods are lighter and they vibrate better, so you generally get a better sound out of a softwood top.
So cedar versus spruce, the cedar would have like sort of a warmer quality?
It does have a warmer quality. The cedar is a softer wood, and that softness to the wood gives it some more overtones, gives it the warmth you're talking about. So cedar tops tend to be particularly well suited to fingerstyle players,
Right.
and that kind of thing. Spruce is great if you want a guitar that's really going to project. Spruce has a lot of note definition. So if you're a strummer or a flat picker, spruce is a great choice for
Okay,
that.
so anything sort of anybody that's got really rhythmic kind of like driving style of playing, that's often what I do, either that or finger picking. But if you're doing like a lot of that
a lot
heavy
of the heavy strumming stuff, a spruce top's generally going to be more what you want.
I've got
Okay.
a couple of questions for you here. The first one, I'll start with the most recent, but where is your studio? There's people in the comments asking.
I'm from Goderich, Ontario, so I have a shop there in Goderich. It's on East Street, 130 East Street, Goderich, Ontario, and people are welcome to come by and look at what I do. I just ask that they make an appointment ahead of time because I'm not always in there during regular business hours.
And I'll double check. Bob, you've got, it's up on the screen right now, houseguitars.com?
Yes.
Perfect. I should never doubt Bob. He's always got it on the screen as soon as I ask. And a couple of other questions from the audience. Any tips for amateur builders? Like how should someone approach getting started?
If you want to get started as a guitar maker, taking a course is really an ideal way to do it if you can learn in person with an instructor. But over the past 10 years, there's been a lot of online resources. YouTube's even a great free resource. There's a lot of people posting how-to videos. Some people offering online courses, mainly pre-recorded video stuff, and lots of good books as well. I'd also suggest that you don't just dive into it as like, it's the same with
You don't just go out and buy some lumber?
Well, it's the same as any artist, right? When you're getting started, you probably need to have a day job or some other part-time job.
Right.
And I'm about 15 years into this now. I am doing it full-time, but for a lot of those early years, I did it either part-time or in my spare time as I was building a reputation and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And you already covered that one, but what is the craziest request you've had for a guitar?
I guess a pretty crazy request. The craziest one I've actually followed through on was from a Scottish musician named Brian McNeil, a folk musician, and he had me build him a double neck bouzouki. Now, a bouzouki, not a bazooka.
It's a Greek.
A bouzouki is an instrument used in a lot of Celtic folk style music. It's generally got 4 strings tuned in pairs, and it can be tuned like a mandolin, or a lot of the Scottish and English guys tend to tune it a variety of other different ways depending on their style of music. But he had me build this double neck bouzouki that had 20 strings combined between the 2 necks, and it was just a really wild thing.
That'd be weird. Like, how do you even source parts for that? Like that's crazy.
Well, it was a total original design. I don't think there's another one in the world. So you just get out a piece of paper, you start doing sketches, and then you take those sketches and you have to figure out, okay, how do I actually make this? And that's a tricky thing when you're doing an instrument like that no one's, or in my case, I've never done anything like it. So, how do I build this thing so it still sounds good and yet doesn't explode under the string tension? So that's the craziest one that I've actually followed through on. Most of what I build, though, it tends to be more like this, fairly straightforward, just kind of 6-string acoustic guitars.
We've got more questions coming in here. We've got what someone wants to know. What can someone expect to pay for a custom-built guitar? And I'm assuming a range, but
yeah. For my instruments right now, they start around $4,000.
Okay.
And the custom guitar market, if you're coming to someone like myself, typically around $3,000 is probably going to be your starting point for someone that's fairly new into the market, and after that's the sky's the limit. You could spend $10,000 or $20,000 or $40,000 or $50,000.
Wow!
So it's again, it depends on what you want. It depends who's building it and that kind of thing.
It's kind of exciting though, the idea of having a guitar exactly the way you want it.
Yeah. And the neat thing about getting one custom built is that there's a lot of small details that someone like myself can change and modify without having to charge any extra for. So if you're going to get a factory guitar and say you want the neck a little wider because you're big hands or something like that, well, they can do that, but they're probably going to charge you extra. Whereas that kind of stuff for me, because the guitars are one of a kind, it's not any more work for me to change some of those things without having to charge any more. So
okay.
Now, we've got a couple more here. Let's take a look at the other ones you've got before you've got another one there.
Sure,
right?
I've got one more.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the wood that you use too. So we can switch them up, but so the back and the sides are usually a hardwood?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, now there's different options for what you can use for the body outside of the top too. Does that really affect the sound of the instrument, what you use for the back and the sides?
It does, and a lot of that has to do with the density of the wood.
Okay.
And so, like you said, it's generally hardwood for the back and sides, but there's a range of wood density there. And mahogany tends to be on the lighter side, and then you've got the rosewoods. A lot of people would be familiar with like an Indian rosewood. That's kind of a common wood. So that's kind of on the harder end of the scale. And yeah, the back and the sides tends to give like a color to the tone, kind of the characteristics. You know, is the guitar going to have more low end than high end, or that kind of thing. So
Okay.
mahogany tends to give a nice balanced sound. A lot of people like the big rosewood dreadnoughts, that they tend to give them a lot of low end, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Okay.
No, I think it's probably Tom who's asking me, but there's people who want to hear the guitar. Can we
Just strum it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. The one I've got here now is a bit of a different one, and this is just a prototype I built for myself, more for fun. And so it's a mahogany body shape, a little bit smaller, and this one's actually strung with electric guitar strings with a jazz humbucker pickup in it.
Cool.
That's so cool.
I've been trying to learn to play some jazz guitar myself, and I don't really build electrics at this time, so this was kind of my happy medium where I took an acoustic guitar, put an electric pickup in there, and so this one's got a warmer, more mellower sound, and a lot of that has to do with the way it's set up.
So this is a unique feature here too. A lot of people maybe haven't seen that. But what can you explain what that's for?
Yeah. So when people see that the guitar has this hole in the side of it, the first thing they think of is that some kind of electronics or something is going to go in there.
Yeah.
But this is actually just an extra sound hole, and it's known as a sound port or a side sound port. And the idea is that normally with a guitar, when you're playing it, the sound is going out the front of the instrument.
Yeah.
And so if you actually hear someone else play a guitar, say, if you're sitting out in front of me, it sounds better out in front than it does for the person playing it. Mm-hmm. And so by putting the port in the side of the guitar, it actually lets the sound come up towards the person playing it and not strictly out the front of the instrument. So the person playing it gets to experience more of the sound that's coming out.
It's kind of like a monitor.
It's kind of like your own personal monitor.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That is really. This looks heavy. Is it?
It's not too heavy.
No, it's not. And sorry, what did you say was on the top?
Okay, so this one is all mahogany.
This is all mahogany.
Yeah.
But mahogany is normally a harder wood.
It's a
hardwood.
It's a hardwood.
Yeah.
But it's one of the lighter hardwoods. So you do see it on some acoustic guitars, Martins. The way my understanding is the way it kind of came into first use was back during the wars, World War II, that kind of thing, when all the spruce had to go into the airplanes. Instrument manufacturers couldn't get the spruce that they had previously, and so a number of them went through a period where they put mahogany on the top as well as the back and sides. And a mahogany top guitar won't have the projection and that of say a spruce guitar, but it's still got a really great sound. And it's a sound that a lot of blues players and ragtime guys, especially guys that play kind of the old style blues, they tend to really like a mahogany top guitar, because back when a lot of that music was being written, it was on kind of those older small body all mahogany guitars. So
that is so cool. I could honestly sit here and talk all day about this, but we should probably move on to get Brian up here. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks very much for having me.
One more time before we let you go, where can people find you?
houseguitars.com, and I do have a Facebook page as well. And you can go to my website, and there's more contact information there for anyone who's interested in stopping by.
Perfect. And thank you to Lauren and Casey for asking all those lovely questions as well. Make our job a lot easier. And we'll be right back with Brian.
This is beautiful.
But in the meantime, Bob, give me a 1. Today we are here live at Pick Studio. As always, Pick Studio is a fantastic place. They employ me, so of course I love them. But everyone who comes in here loves this atmosphere. You can obviously see there's a lovely mural behind me here. It's just a great place to come and experience the arts. There's art classes. We've got a drama class starting in the spring. We've got music of all sorts, singing, piano, guitar, ukulele, whatever you'd like. And we're not just, we don't just teach kids. We've got adult students, and there's always room for a few more. But guess who's here? Let's cut back to the full screen shot. Brian's here.
It's Brian. Brian, Jesus. What do you call yourself? Snake Jesus.
We've got Snake Jesus in the house, everybody.
Where am I at now with this thing?
You just clip it on you, man. Just put it right there. There you go. See, you got this. See?
Look at that.
Okay.
Microphones are getting smaller every day. Brian, so how long have you been playing harmonica, Brian?
42 years.
42 years?
42
Yeah.
years.
I started when I was 19.
Yeah.
He
What,
started when he was 19. I started when I was 19.
what was it about the harmonica? Because it was the first instrument I picked up, too. I was intimidated by it. But
Everybody I was living with played guitar. So I tried to play guitar, and it's just a pain in the butt. Sorry, Josh. You gotta tune it, you gotta carry it around, all that stuff. This basically, stick it in your pocket, and then you just learn through osmosis. You just have it.
But
right?
this is something that people might not know if they don't play harmonica, is you need more than one harmonica in your kit. You need a whole bunch of them, don't you?
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
wanna
unless you have one big
match.
chromatic, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know about chromatic.
No?
It's just like there's too many notes on that thing. So I just keep it simple. So if you're in a certain key, I have to have a corresponding key, not necessarily the key that you're in, because there's a thing called straight harp. You'd be playing in G with a guitar. I'd be playing in G. But if you're playing in G and I play cross harp, I'm playing in C. That way you get more draws, you get to do bends and stuff like that.
So
You're the
play in
person
C.
who taught me that, actually. During a haircut once, you just wrote it down for me, and I went home and I
Did it help?
Yeah.
How do you know then?
a
So
lot.
just I'm just dorking out on the music theory a little bit. Why would
Okay.
you choose a C
If you're in G.
harmonica if I'm playing in the key of G?
Faintest idea.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I just know it's called second position, or blues harp, or cross harp.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all the same thing. And you
Dope.
play straight harp. That's
So that would be like your
on
Bob
G.
Dylan kind of just blowing into it while you're
it's
strumming
so
along.
bad.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
hurts.
You don't like when people just screech into a harmonica for
Yeah.
a 3-minute solo in the
Like
middle of a folk song?
Monkey harp. Yeah.
So who would be like a harmonica hero of yours?
Wow. I just found this guy called Buddy Green. Man, this guy's amazing.
Yeah.
But I like Little Walter too.
Okay.
Like Little Walter and.
And like when
That's
you play,
bluesy.
like you play with all sorts of people. You play with blues, you play with gospel people, you play with the choir.
Yeah.
Like what's the experience playing with, say, me at open mic compared to playing with the choir? Like what? Like it doesn't have to be me. I just use me as an example.
No, it has to be you. Okay. Playing with Dylan. No, it's good. It's good. You just like, with a choir, there's so many voices, there's instruments on top of that, there's harmonies on top of that, and you just try and sneak in and sneak out. Just fill a little space that maybe just to accent what they're doing, to complement what they're doing. I don't want to step on anything.
Yeah.
So like I went to the Christmas show this year, and I was in practice, and I'm just like there going, can't play this song. It's too, like there's too much happening. Okay, I can't play this. And basically, I talked myself out of playing in the whole thing. So I just, so like if I can't, like I don't want to be a note crammer.
That's
you know
that's
what I mean?
great. That's such a good attitude. Like there's so
Yeah.
many guys out there that are just rammy, go, 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 go. But music's all about the space. It's mostly about the notes you don't play versus
Yeah.
the notes you play, right?
Yeah.
Especially on harmonica. Yeah, yeah.
Now, before we move on to the music and all of the fun stuff we have planned, we did also, for those who don't know, Brian is also a professional hair barber? What's the
barber.
word?
Professional hair
Barber. What's a fancy title?
So we have a recurring segment that's going on until the end of the Olympics. It's called the Art Olympics. Bob, play the graphic. All right, so I spent my Saturday.
This is what Dylan does with his spare time.
Sad little man.
My Saturday was spent here in the office preparing these
Yeah.
incredibly lifelike facsimiles of some people who need a haircut.
Yep.
And because today is it's not just the Olympics, it's not the only sporting event going on, it's also the big game, or as you might know it, I don't know if I can say it or if they'll sue us, but the Super Bowl cut is what we're going to be doing today. So here's your bowl, Brian.
Thank you.
And I don't know, take your pick of scissors here.
Wow.
You don't want the pink zebra stripe?
No, you're good.
Okay. So to perfectly simulate the experience of cutting someone's hair. Patrick, feel free to throw us any curveballs you want.
Well, I just think I'm going to judge you guys on a few different categories here for these Art Olympics. So first of all, it's going to be quality. It's got to be a good quality haircut.
Okay, so I'm already at a disadvantage.
Be happy. Okay, it's also speed, but I don't want you to go too fast. Don't be sacrificing the quality for speed. Okay.
I wouldn't have any fingers left if I tried to do this quickly.
And thirdly, it's all about customer satisfaction. So let's do this. Let's do our Super Bowls.
So if I accidentally turn there, okay, here we go. I'm ready.
Okay.
Give her.
Okay.
This is fun.
I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for just a straight up bowl, like classic mom haircut.
This is good. This is
You're gonna clean up all this yarn, right, Patrick? We should. I'm gonna maybe leave a couple strands. You know, I'm gonna leave the bangs.
Good idea. Man, you should get into this.
I think you know what? I think I could have a second life as a barber. People, I never stop talking, which I understand is like a skill that. I don't know what
you guys are doing pretty good
so
here.
far. Am I allowed to remove the bowl and check my work?
Yeah, you got a little bit. You got some danglies over here.
I know. I'm kind of thinking that might be a bit of a bonus, right?
It happens.
You know, I don't know how satisfied a customer is going to be. He's got some scissors in the face.
I have an opportunity.
You know what?
Here we go. Okay, I've left a little bit of style at the front.
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess
you
the
got
balls
the.
let me just. Can I go back for a second?
Just do the old man swoop. Just go over this way.
Okay. Yeah, I meant to do a comb over.
Whoops, hold on.
Well, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Who's the winner of these Art Olympics?
I think. Okay. Well, now I'm seeing my work on
Brian's.
screen.
Dylan's. Yours is, see, okay, look at this. Look at the back. Look at that. Can you guys see that?
Detail.
Someone says the
Details.
green scissors are left-handed, so.
So Brian's
like it makes
Brian
a
definitely has the more even cut.
Do you know what, Dylan? I think you lose again, man.
You lose again. Oh, man.
I'm losing. My quest for the gold is not done until the closing ceremonies at Pyeongchang. So
Okay, you can keep that.
They both look much better. They're both
thank
very
you.
cute.
I'm gonna hang those in my office. I'm gonna put those next to my bed. They'll speak to me at night
Ew.
before I go to bed.
Yeah, that's good, Dylan.
We have one more question for you, real quick though, because someone's asking what kind of harmonica you use. What brand?
Horner Special 20s.
Is that all of them?
Pretty
Every
much.
single one?
You can go Golden Melody, beautiful tone, and it's Horner again. Or if you want something a little edgier, I guess, it would be, I can't remember the guy's name. The guy does Lowrider.
Low ride.
That's the guy.
That guy.
He has his own harmonica.
All right. Well, let's set you guys up. Ow!
Hold on.
Well,
Zoom in on this.
shall we play some music?
There.
Oh yeah, zoom in on Brian's
Oh
shirt.
yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
there's a plug.
Here's a
Plug,
He's got
shameless
some-
plug.
Got some
I
shirts
got
here.
some shirts to get rid of. There. That's my old band.
Give us the story of this
Okay,
because you've told me once before.
Okay, we never made it out of the warehouse, but we're looking around and saying, what do we call ourselves? And I looked around and said, oh, Drunks with Instruments wouldn't be too far off the mark. So I had a guy design the shirt, and there it is. So, and that's when everybody was naming their tours too. So it was like Glass Spider and Steel Wheels. So No Talent Bum Tour seemed pretty accurate.
All right, let's.
Are we doing something now? Do I
Yeah,
have
so you
to-
guys go ahead and set up, and
Check this
I'll
off.
talk to the audience for a second about
Haven't they suffered enough?
GemWeb. GemWeb. Bob, I lost the copy again. Hey, you wrote it for me. I love you, Bob. GemWeb Internet Marketing and Design are your local Bruce County-based specialists in web design and business exposure via social media, Google Ads, and search engine optimization. If you want to get in contact, go to www.gemweb.com. That's GEMWEBB.com. Don't forget the 2 B's. Now, I believe we're ready for it. Does it look good if I just get in like right here? How do I look? I just shaved.
You look great, Dylan.
Now for a musical, thank you, Patrick. Now for a musical performance by our musical guest, Brian Tovey, with accompaniment by Patrick Main.
Ready to rock this? Heck yeah.
People get ready, there's a train a-comin'. Don't need no baggage, you just come on board. All we need is faith to hear the diesel coming. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. People get ready, there's a train to Jordan, picking up the passengers from coast to coast. Oh, the faith is key, open the doors and board them. Though there's hope for all who you love the most. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who has hurt all mankind just to save his own. Have pity on those whose chances may grow thinner. There ain't no hiding place from the Father of creation. People get ready, there's a train coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesel humming. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. Nice, dude. Beauty.
Hey, answer one more question for me in between. How
Sure.
do you get more life out of your harmonicas?
Clean them, rinse them,
How do you go
Don't,
about cleaning a harmonica?
run it under the tap and smack it a few times. Don't do that with wooden ones though, because these are plastic. The wooden ones, they'll swell up. Like you'll be playing them and your saliva will get into them. Then they swell up, and then they're hard to play because they're this part here. This part goes over the metal plate, and then you got all these little corners. Just get these; they're easier, and play them. And then
You get a different sound out of wood ones versus those though, don't you?
a little bit, yeah.
It's like a little warmer.
I don't know, actually. To tell you the truth, it all sounds kind of the same to me.
Fair enough.
I think it's sort of style, and you
Yeah.
can kind of, if you want to play warmer, you just play warmer.
Okay.
What are you guys going to play for us next?
Now we're gonna play some rock and roll music from Kenny Loggins. Your mama don't dance. I said your mama don't dance and your daddy don't rock and roll.
I said your mama don't dance and your daddy don't rock and roll. The evening rolls around and it's time to go to town. Where do you go to rock and roll, Brian Tovey? The old folks say that you gotta end your day by 10. And if you're out on a date and you come home late, that's a sin. It just goes to show and it proves you never lose, you never win. Play it again, Brian Tovey. Your mama don't dance and your daddy don't rock and roll. I said your mama don't dance and your daddy don't rock and roll. The evening rolls around and it's time to go to town. Where do you go? Let's play out one more time. Woo, dope. All right.
For shizzle.
Shizzle my nizzle.
Thank you for joining us, Brian, and for Josh. Thank you.
My
for joining
pleasure.
us. We got one more song for you before we close the day, but I just want to say thank you to our sponsors, Gem Web and Pig Studio, and we'll see you again next week, Sunday at noon.
What's the song? Can't remember.
This is the song, just because it's the Lord's Day, I thought we would do some gospel tunes. Some bright morning when this life is over, I'll fly away to a land on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away when the shadow of this life is gone. Oh, I'll fly away like a bird on these prison walls have flown. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. All right, play something. Oh, how glad and happy when we meet. Oh, oh, I'll fly away. No more coiled iron shackles on my feet. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. All right, let's play it out.